Hello students, today we are going to discuss a famous poem Hiroshima which is written by S.H. Vatsayan. Hiranand Vatsayan. He is popularly known as Agyeya. Agyeya is a famous Hindi poet and this poem Hiroshima is written by him. The real name of the poet is S.H. Vatsayan, but he is known as Agyeya, as I told you. This poem is originally written by Agyeya and later on translated from Hindi by him and Leonard Nathan. This poem is written about the tragic incident of the bombing of Hiroshima by the Allied forces of the USA during the Second World War on 6 August 1945. Agyeya very skillfully describes what happened on that unfortunate day. The poet describes the actual events that occurred during the bombing in Hiroshima and its impact upon the city and the people there. Though the poem is almost factual in recounting of what happened and how it happened, where Agyeya excels is the way in which, through the description, he captures destabilizing effect of the bomb, both upon the city and its inhabitants. He also depicts how the beautiful city of Hiroshima, which was full of life, was turned into a graveyard within seconds. He initiated the poem with the symbol of the sun as usual on that dreadful day. The advent of technology and science will become a threat to human civilization due to its misuse. It would hardly bring positive changes. If humans use science for power, it will erase the existence of human beings from the globe. It also shows the brutality of human beings, the unwanted massacre caused by the self-centered politicians, the horrible and incredible human brutality and butchery against humanity. In order to understand the poem, one should go to the background of the history related to the bombardment of America on the two important cities of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, during the Second World War. These two cities have become memorable because of the naked dance of death of human beings towards human beings or the indiscriminate use of arms and ammunition. We know that during the Second World War, America wanted to dominate over Japan, so dropped atom bombs without knowing anything about its consequences on the two great cities of Japan. As a result, many people consigned to ashes, their dwelling demolished, their dreams and aspirations shattered to nothingness, and the whole activity of the city reduced to the dust. This traumatic experience has been haunting not only the people of these two cities but also the whole world. This poetic and metaphoric description presents a very realistic picture of that situation caused by the atom bombs. The poet is of the opinion that all men of the city died as suddenly as the mist. In the natural process of the day, the heat of the sun dries the mist on the blades of the grass, but here, these man-made fears and horrible bombs end the life of man without a very few minutes. The only thing that stays in this city is the shadows. Again, here the term shadow has got a number of meanings. At first, it suggests the dark aspects of the satiric behavior of man. It also denotes the stain and scar made by the merciless mankind towards the innocent mankind. These dark shadows have haunted civilization and are still haunting and will be haunted in the next generation. So the only thing that stays today is the shadows. On the second scale of meaning, the shadows here also denotes the shadow caused by the flame of a burning rock and stones of the vacant streets, as there were no people in the city. On this day, the sun appeared, no, not slowly over the horizon, but right in the city square. A blast of dazzle bowed over, not from the middle sky, but from the earth-torn reganry open. The poet is comparing the sun with the bomb. The sun that is rising in the horizon is greeting people, and the poet uses this description to compare with the bomb that tore upon the earth and bit people with the darkness of death. The bomb that was thrown by the USA hit the center of the city and blasted with enormous clouds of smoke, making a dreadful scenario in the city, as if the city was lying on the lap of death. Through the entire poem, the poet is expressing that men themselves destroyed their self creation. Here in this stanza, the poet takes the image of the bright sun, but the sun here is not the natural sun rising in the cast daily, for giving life to the whole world and driving the darkness away from the world. The sun here refers to the man made sun caused by the powering down of atom bombs. Just like the sun, the atom bombs also emit bright rays, but the rays are not the fruitful rays of the sun, giving health and energy to both man and plants. Here, the rays engendered by the bombs thresh and butcher the whole humanity within a second. The phrase right in the city square shows the dropping of the bomb in the middle of the town, generally the center for people's entertainment and their strolling. In the natural process, the sun generally appears in the east and slowly comes over the horizon. But here, the case is just opposite. The sun here never comes slowly but very speedily, and that too in the very middle of the city. Thus, here the comparison is very appropriate and interesting. The poet says that there was a great blast caused by the diesel, not from the middle sky, but from the earth, which is turned raggedly open. After the bombardment, the situation was very heart-rending, and the people became homeless. People and their objects, as well as their dwelling places, were dazed and lost and pitched in every direction. Human shadows, dazed and lost, pitched in every direction. This blaze, not risen from the east, smashed in the city's heart. An immense wheel of death's sword sun car, spinning down and apart in every direction. The phrase human shadow in this stanza is highly suggestive. It shows various layers of meaning. At first, it suggests how human beings of the city were turned to shadows that are turned to death. Secondly, it stands for the dark shadow of the whole human being who boast of the great civilization and culture. It also suggests the self-centered politicians who seldom feel the calm of conscience in dropping out the bombs on the innocent people. This phrase also presents a contrast to the natural sun. Generally, when the sun is over our head in the sky, there is a shadow of our body created by the light of the sun. But here, the human shadows are dazed and lost. In other words, there were no men, so there were no shadows. The phrase Death's Schwarzenegger is also very connotative. It means how the atomic blast is just like the wheels of the sun, causing violent death all over. Instead of a sun's rise and set, vision in an annihilating flare, one compressed noon. The poet says that during the dance of death in the middle of Hiroshima city, the sun rises and sets in a very short time. As a result, all the visions, dreams, and aspirations of human beings were smashed to pieces. The implied meaning in these lines is that the terrible blast of the bomb flashed out very suddenly and also subsided in a moment. So both the rising and the setting of the sun were done within a very short period of time. We know that the sun generally rises in the morning and sets in the evening, but here in this city of Hiroshima, this whole process of the sun from morning to evening was confined to a few seconds at noon of the day. This is why the poet uses the phrase one compressed noon. This phrase also shows the cruel and inhuman activity of human beings to change the rule of nature. And then it was not human shadows that lengthened, paled, and died. It was men, suddenly become as mist then gone. The shadows stay, burned on rocks, stones of these vacant streets. The extended metaphor of the sun has been again very beautifully used in this stanza, in which the poet says that it was not human shadows that lengthened, paled, and died. The only shadows that stay are the shadows of the burning rocks and stones of these vacant streets. A sun conjured by man converted man to air to nothing. White shadows singed on the black rock gave back man's witness to himself. This is a scene from Hiroshima after the bombardment. These last lines of the poems convey the poet's message to such men who were tempted by the power and authority, fame and popularity. It also shows how it was a great folly of a human being to destroy the other human being. Here, the phrase "a sun" does not denote the God made sun made for the welfare of the whole flora and fauna. Here, a sun with indefinite article a and not the definite article that shows the indefinite fate of human being bound to be shattered in the days to come if man keeps on making such type of suns for the annihilation of human beings. In these, the message of the poet that such a type of sun or bomb conjured by man will do nothing but convert man to air or to nothingness. The phrase white shadows is very ironic in this context. It suggests the so called modern materialistic development of modern science, for which men are always boasting and bragging on their achievements. But truly speaking, this white shadow or the modern generation is burning slightly on the black rock made by man. So the witness of this great havoc and tragedy done on the innocent people directly goes to the modern man who is quite insensitive and cold to nature and to humanity. This poem was written by Agyeya when he visited Hiroshima personally. He was so much traumatized after seeing the view of the city. Then he wrote this poem. So it is a very touching poem, and it comes directly from the heart of the poem. Thank you very much.